The galaxy had grown quiet around the small blue planet. For thousands of years, the advanced civilizations had watched Earth with mild curiosity, then growing confusion, and, finally, complete bewilderment. The humans had stopped transmitting into space entirely. Commander ZYX of the Galactic Council stood before the massive viewing screen in his flagship. His 6 eyes focused on the third planet from the yellow star. Earth looked peaceful from this distance, its white clouds swirling over green and brown continents. But something was terribly wrong. How long has it been since their last transmission? ZYX asked his communication officer. Exactly 3,412 years, Commander, replied Officer Crow, her tentacles dancing over the control panel. The last message was a simple radio broadcast about something called music from a place called Earth Station Alpha. ZYX's mandibles clicked with frustration. When humans first appeared on the galactic scene, they had been loud, chaotic, and impossible to ignore. Their radio signals had flooded space with everything from entertainment shows to desperate calls for contact with alien life. The Galactic Council had been preparing for formal first contact when suddenly, silence. The other races had theories. The Velkari believed humans had destroyed themselves in nuclear war. Their species had a habit of doing that. The crystal beings of Nexus Prime thought perhaps humans had evolved beyond the need for communication technology. The slug-like Martians simply assumed humans had gotten bored and stopped trying. But ZYX wasn't convinced by any of these explanations. "Sir, we're receiving a priority message from the Council," announced Lieutenant Core from the communication station. "Put it through," ZYX ordered. The holographic image of High Chancellor Rax materialized in the center of the bridge. The ancient being's crystalline form pulsed with urgent purple light. "Commander ZYX, the Council has reached a decision. We're sending an investigation fleet to Earth. Whatever happened to the humans, we need to know. If they've developed some kind of weapon that could threaten galactic peace, or if they've discovered technology that could benefit all species, we must investigate." ZYX nodded. "Understood, Chancellor. When do we depart?" "Immediately. Take your fastest ships and a full diplomatic team." "But ZYX..." The Chancellor's glow dimmed slightly. "Be careful. The Andromedans have been asking questions about Earth, too. They may not wait for Council approval before taking action." The transmission ended, leaving ZYX staring at the blue planet below. The Andromedans were trouble. Unlike the peaceful Galactic Council, they believed in taking what they wanted by force. If they thought Earth held valuable secrets, they would attack first and ask questions later. "All ships, prepare for immediate departure to Earth," ZYX announced to his fleet. "Full stealth approach. We don't know what we're walking into." As the ships powered up their faster-than-light drives, ZYX couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important. Humans had been clever when they first appeared. Their technology was primitive compared to galactic standards, but their thinking was different, creative in ways that often surprised other species. The fleet jumped to hyperspace, beginning their journey toward Earth. During the 3-day travel time, ZYX reviewed every piece of information the Council had about humans. The files painted a picture of a young, aggressive species that loved to fight, explore, and ask endless questions about everything around them. So why had they gone silent? Dr. Vera Chun, the Council's leading expert on human psychology, had submitted a report suggesting that humans might have been deliberately hiding. But hiding from what? And why for so long? When the fleet finally dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, ZYX ordered maximum stealth protocols. They would approach slowly, scanning everything for signs of life or technology. "Commander," called Science Officer THYP, "I'm detecting something unusual." "What kind of unusual?" "The electromagnetic signatures around Earth are wrong. There should be radio waves, television broadcasts, satellite communications. Instead, there's almost nothing except some very low-level transmissions that don't match any known human technology patterns." ZYX felt his primary heart skip a beat. "Are you saying the planet is dead?" "No, sir. I'm detecting life signs. Billions of them, actually. But The technology signatures suggest a pre-industrial civilization, as if humans somehow went backwards in their development. This made no sense. Species didn't just forget how to build technology. ZYX ordered the fleet to move closer to Earth, maintaining stealth but preparing for anything. As they approached the planet, more mysteries emerged. The cities were still there, but they looked different, cleaner, more organized, and there were new structures that didn't appear in any of the old surveillance files. "Sir," whispered Communications Officer Crow, "I think someone's watching us." The warning came too late. Before Commander ZYX could respond to Officer Crow's observation, every system on his flagship went dark. Emergency lighting flickered on as the ship's main power core shut down safely. Around him, his crew scrambled to understand what had happened. "Report," ZYX barked. "Unknown energy field has disabled all our primary systems," THYP called out, his voice tight with concern. "It's not destructive, sir. More like everything just switched off." Through the viewing ports, ZYX could see the rest of his fleet floating helplessly in space. 27 of the most advanced ships in the galaxy, reduced to drifting metal in seconds. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," Crow announced, her tentacles working frantically over backup communication systems. "It's coming from Earth. Put it through." The voice that came through their speakers was calm, friendly, and unmistakably human. It spoke in perfect Galactic standard, which should have been impossible. "Greetings, travelers from the Galactic Council. This is Director Sarah Martinez of Earth Defense Command. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we needed to ensure you came in peace before allowing you to proceed." ZYX found his voice. You disabled our entire fleet." "How?" There was a slight chuckle in the human's voice. "We've had quite a lot of time to prepare for visitors. Please don't be alarmed. Your ships are perfectly safe. We've simply temporarily interrupted your power systems. If you're willing to talk, we can restore them and invite you down for a proper conversation." "Earth Defense Command?" ZYX repeated. "But our scans show pre-industrial technology levels." "Scans can be fooled, Commander ZYX. We know who you are, by the way. The Council keeps very detailed records, and we've been listening to your communications for quite some time." Science Officer THYP was frantically checking his instruments. "Commander, I'm detecting massive energy signatures all around the planet. They were hidden before, but now it's like someone just turned on the lights in a dark room." On the main screen, Earth began to change. What had appeared to be a simple, quiet planet moments before now revealed itself as something extraordinary. Massive orbital platforms materialized around the planet, previously invisible to their scanners. Space elevators stretched from the surface to these stations like silver threads. Ships, thousands of them, appeared in organized formations around the planet. But these weren't the primitive chemical rockets the Council remembered from human history. These were sleek vessels that radiated advanced technology, some larger than ZYX's own flagship. "How long have you been watching us?" Director Martinez asked. "We detected your fleet the moment you entered our solar system. Before that, actually, we've been tracking Council movements for the past 50 years. ZYX felt his legs go weak. The most advanced detection systems in the galaxy hadn't noticed the humans watching them. "We accept your invitation to talk," ZYX managed to say. "But I need to understand. Where did all this technology come from? 3,000 years ago, you were still using fossil fuels and basic electronics. 3,000 years is a long time, Commander. When we realized we weren't alone in the galaxy, we faced a choice. We could announce ourselves and likely become targets for more aggressive species, or we could step back, learn, and prepare." Power flickered back to life across ZYX's ship. His instruments immediately began registering hundreds of new contacts around Earth, all of them clearly technological and advanced. "You've been hiding," ZYX said, understanding beginning to dawn. "We've been learning," Director Martinez corrected. "Your radio transmissions taught us about galactic politics. We learned about the Council, about the Andromedans, about dozens of other species. We realized that in the galaxy, being weak makes you a target. Lieutenant Corp looked up from his station. Sir, I'm detecting massive industrial operations on the dark side of Earth's moon. And are those mining facilities on Mars? Humans have been busy, came the amused voice from Earth. Commander, we're transmitting coordinates for a landing platform. Please bring a small diplomatic party. We have much to discuss. As ZYX prepared to leave his ship, Dr. Vera Chen's report came back to him. She had been right about humans hiding, but even she had underestimated the scale of what they had accomplished. The shuttle journey to Earth's surface revealed more impossibilities. The planet was pristine, more beautiful than in any of the old surveillance images. Cities gleamed with clean technology, vast forests covered areas that had once been polluted industrial zones, and the oceans were crystal clear. How did you clean up the environmental damage? ZYX asked as they descended. When you have unlimited clean energy and 3,000 years to work, environmental restoration becomes surprisingly manageable, Director Martinez replied. The landing platform was a marvel of engineering, seamlessly integrated into what appeared to be a natural hillside. As ZYX's diplomatic team stepped off their shuttle, they were greeted by a group of humans who looked exactly as they had in the old records. Not younger, not older, exactly the same. Director Martinez was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and graying hair. She wore simple clothes that somehow suggested both casual comfort and quiet authority. Welcome to Earth, she said, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. We've been looking forward to this conversation for a very long time. How long have you been director? ZYX asked. Her smile was enigmatic. That's one of many things we need to discuss. But first, I think you should see what we've built. The underground facility beneath the landing platform defied everything Commander ZYX thought he knew about human capabilities. Massive corridors stretched in every direction, lined with materials he couldn't identify. The walls themselves seemed to pulse with gentle light, as if they were alive. This is impossible, whispered Dr. Corinne, the Council's chief technology officer. Her crystalline form sparkled with confusion. The energy readings alone should have been detectable from space. Director Martinez led them deeper into the facility. We learned early that the galaxy judges species by their apparent technology level. Show too little, and you're ignored or conquered. Show too much too early, and you become a target for those who fear change. They entered a vast chamber that took ZYX's breath away. The ceiling disappeared into darkness above them, while the floor was transparent, revealing layer upon layer of activity below. Humans worked alongside machines that moved like flowing water, constructing devices that seemed to bend the laws of physics. What are they building? ZYX asked. Everything we need to protect ourselves and our allies, Director Martinez replied. When we studied galactic history, we found the same pattern repeating over and over. Strong species dominate weak ones. Peaceful civilizations get absorbed or destroyed by aggressive ones. We decided to change that pattern. A young man approached them, carrying what looked like a simple tablet. But when he activated it, holographic displays filled the air around them with star maps, ship designs, and data streams that made ZYX's head spin. This is Dr. James Park, our head of advanced development, Director Martinez introduced. James, would you show our guests the latest protection grid status? Dr. Park nodded and gestured to his tablet. The holographic display zoomed out to show the entire solar system. Thousands of small objects orbited the sun in perfect formation. These are our Guardian satellites, Dr. Park explained in perfect galactic standard. Each one contains defensive systems capable of stopping any known weapon. They've been active for the past 800 years. Science Officer THYP nearly dropped his scanner. 800 years? But that would mean you developed this technology before most council species achieved interstellar flight. We had motivation, Director Martinez said simply. When you're alone in a dangerous galaxy, you either get strong fast or you disappear. They moved to another section where teams of humans worked with materials that seemed to shift and change as ZYX watched. A woman approached them, her hair silver with age, but her movements young and energetic. Commander ZYX, meet Dr. Elizabeth Stone, our head of materials science. Dr. Stone smiled warmly. We've been following your career, Commander. Your defense of the Caltharian colonies was quite impressive. ZYX felt a chill run down his spine. That happened only 6 months ago. How could you possibly know about classified council operations? We've had listening posts throughout the galaxy for over 1,000 years, Dr. Stone replied matter-of-factly. We needed to understand galactic politics if we were going to survive them. The implications hit ZYX like a physical blow. You've been spying on everyone. Learning from everyone, Director Martinez corrected. Every species has something unique to offer. The Velcari taught us about energy manipulation. The Nexus Prime crystals showed us how to store massive amounts of information. Even the Andromedans contributed to our understanding of military tactics. Dr. Park activated another holographic display. This is our current technology assessment of known galactic civilizations. The display showed hundreds of species, each with detailed breakdowns of their capabilities, weaknesses, and potential threats. You know more about us than we know about ourselves, Dr. Karen whispered. Knowledge is survival, Director Martinez said. But it's not just about protecting ourselves. We've been preparing to help others. Lieutenant Corp, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. The asteroid mining operations near Vega Prime. The ones that helped the Tellurians survive their resource crisis. That was you, wasn't it? Director Martinez nodded. Along with several dozen other mysterious benefactor operations throughout the galaxy. We've been testing our ability to help without revealing ourselves. They arrived at another chamber, this one filled with what appeared to be empty space. But as they watched, objects began materializing out of thin air. Ships, weapons, entire buildings appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Dimensional folding, Dr. Stone explained. We can hide entire fleets in pocket dimensions, then bring them into normal space when needed. It's how we keep our real capabilities secret. ZYX's mind was reeling. How many ships do you have? Enough, Director Martinez said. But more importantly, we have something the galaxy has been missing. What's that? Hope. She led them to a final chamber where the walls displayed images from across the galaxy. Council worlds, Andromedan territories, and dozens of independent systems were all represented. For too long, the galaxy has been divided between those who rule through fear and those who survive by hiding. The Andromedans expand by conquest. The Council maintains peace through bureaucracy and careful balance of power. But what if there was a third option? What kind of third option? ZYX asked, though he was beginning to suspect the answer. What if someone was strong enough to protect the weak, wise enough to guide without ruling, and patient enough to wait for the right moment to reveal themselves? Dr. Park pulled up another display showing real-time tracking of ships throughout the galaxy. Andromedan war fleets moving toward Council space. Pirates attacking trade routes. Slavers hunting in unprotected systems. The galaxy is about to change, Commander, Director Martinez said. The Andromedans are preparing for a major offensive. Our intelligence suggests they plan to attack 17 Council worlds simultaneously within the next 50 days. ZYX felt his blood run cold. 17 worlds? That would be the beginning of total galactic war, Director Martinez finished. Unless someone intervenes. The Council must be warned immediately, Dr. Karen said, activating her communication device. Already done, Dr. Park said. We transmitted full intelligence reports to Council leadership 3 hours ago. But warnings alone won't be enough to stop what's coming. ZYX stared at the humans around him. You're not just revealing yourselves to us. You're preparing to enter galactic politics. Director Martinez smiled, but there was steel in her eyes. Humanity is ready to take its place in the galaxy, Commander. The question is whether the galaxy is ready for humanity. The emergency session of the Galactic Council erupted in chaos as Commander ZYX finished his report. Representatives from 200 species filled the Great Chamber, Their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of sound, light, and electromagnetic pulses. High Chancellor Rax's crystalline form pulsed angry red. You're telling us that humans have been watching us for thousands of years? That they have technology superior to anything in the galaxy? And now they claim the Andromedans are about to launch a massive attack. Not claim, Chancellor, HFY replied, maintaining his composure despite the hostile atmosphere. Prove. The intelligence they provided includes detailed battle plans, troop movements, and timeline schedules. Our own intelligence services have confirmed everything they told us. Council Representative Thylix of the Beetle Confederation clicked his mandibles aggressively. This is clearly a human deception. No species develops that much advanced technology without us detecting it. Unless they specifically design their technology to avoid detection, Dr. Corinne interjected from her position as technical advisor. Everything I witnessed on Earth suggests they've been several steps ahead of galactic technology for centuries. The Nexus Prime representative, a living crystal formation named Resonance of Truth, pulsed with deep blue light. If their capabilities are as described, why reveal themselves now? Why not continue hiding? Before ZYX could answer, every communication device in the chamber activated simultaneously. A calm human voice filled the space, speaking in each representative's native language at the same time. Honorable representatives of the Galactic Council, this is Director Sarah Martinez of Earth. We apologize for the interruption, but time is critical. Security forces throughout the chamber activated their weapons, looking frantically for the source of the transmission. But Council communication systems were among the most secure in the galaxy, designed to be impossible to hack. We reveal ourselves now because the galaxy faces its greatest threat in recorded history. At this moment, Andromedan fleets are positioning for simultaneous attacks on Council worlds. They believe their new quantum disruptor weapons can overwhelm your defenses before you can coordinate a response. High Chancellor Rax tried to cut the transmission, but his controls weren't responding. How are you doing this? The same way we've been monitoring galactic communications for the past 1,000 years. Chancellor, your security systems were designed to stop threats you understand. We represent something new. The massive display screen at the front of the chamber suddenly showed real-time images of space around 17 different Council worlds. In each image, massive Andromedan fleets hung just beyond detection range of local defenses. These images are live, taken from our surveillance network. The attacks will begin in 14 hours. Your fleets cannot reach these worlds in time to provide adequate defense. Representative Vorthak of the military coalition stood on his powerful legs. Even if this is true, what can one species do against the entire Andromedan Empire? They have 50 times more ships than any Council fleet. Numbers are only part of warfare. Representative Vorthak. Strategy, technology, and timing matter more. We have all three advantages. Prove it, challenged Thylix. The display changed to show long-range scans of the edges of the solar system. Nothing appeared except empty space. What were we supposed to be looking at? Chancellor Rax demanded. Defense Grid Alpha. Activate visual mode, Director Martinez said. The empty space around Earth's solar system suddenly filled with ships. Not hundreds or thousands, but tens of thousands of vessels ranging from small fighters to massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed anything in Council archives. The chamber fell completely silent. This is impossible, whispered Dr. Corinne. Where did they all come from? We've been building them for over 2,000 years, Director Martinez replied. Hidden in dimensional storage, constructed with materials harvested from asteroid belts throughout the galaxy. We've been preparing for the day when the galaxy would need defenders. Representative Quell of the Pacifist Union spoke for the first time in the session. You have an army. What assurance do we have that you won't use it to conquer us instead of protect us? It was a fair question, and ZYX found himself holding his breath for the answer. Because conquest was never our goal, Representative Quell. Survival was. But we learned something important during our years of watching and waiting. Survival isn't enough. Protecting only yourself means you eventually stand alone against all threats. True security comes from making the galaxy safer for everyone. The display changed again, showing detailed tactical analyses of the Andromedan attack plans. We can stop these attacks, but we need Council cooperation. Your fleets must coordinate with our forces. More importantly, you must be prepared for what comes after. What comes after? Chancellor Rax asked. Change. The galaxy has been trapped in the same patterns for millennia. Aggressive species expand until they meet resistance, then either retreat or destroy themselves in endless wars. Peaceful species hide or submit. We're offering a third option, which is strength used in service of protection rather than conquest. Technology shared to benefit all rather than hoarded for advantage. A galactic community based on mutual aid rather than fear. Council Military Advisor Kronks, a massive reptilian being, spoke with obvious skepticism. These are pretty words, human. But power corrupts. What happens when your species decides it knows what's best for the galaxy? Then, you stop us, Director Martinez replied simply. We're not asking you to trust us blindly. We're asking you to judge us by our actions. Help us save these 17 worlds. Watch how we use our power. Then, decide whether you want us as allies or whether you prefer us to return to hiding. Chancellor Rax consulted quietly with his advisors before speaking. If we agree to this cooperation, what exactly are you proposing? Our fleets will engage Andromedan forces directly while your ships evacuate civilian populations and protect critical infrastructure. After the immediate threat is handled, we'll share defensive technologies with any Council world that wants them. No strings attached, no political demands. And do some Council worlds refuse your help? Then they refuse. We won't force protection on anyone. But we also won't allow aggressive empires to destroy peaceful civilizations simply because those civilizations choose neutrality. The chamber buzzed with discussion as representatives debated among themselves. Finally, Chancellor Rax called for order. Director Martinez, the Council needs time to debate this proposal. You have 6 hours, Chancellor. After that, we move to protect the threatened worlds with or without Council approval. But we'd prefer to have you as partners rather than proceed alone. The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. ZYX looked around at the representatives' faces, reading fear, confusion, hope, and suspicion in equal measure. The galaxy was about to change forever, and nobody knew if it would be for better or worse. The Battle of 17 Worlds began exactly as Director Martinez had predicted. Commander ZYX watched from his flagship as Andromedan forces dropped out of hyperspace around Kepler Station, one of the 17 targeted worlds. The attack fleet was massive, 500 ships strong, led by the infamous Andromedan Admiral Kresh. All Council forces maintained defensive positions around the civilian evacuation points, ZYX commanded. After 6 hours of heated debate, the Council had voted to accept human assistance, though barely. The vote was 51% in favor, 49% against. Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching from the outer system, reported Officer Krell. On the tactical display, space itself seemed to ripple as hundreds of human ships materialized from nowhere. They appeared in perfect battle formation, their sleek designs unlike anything in galactic military records. Admiral Kresh's voice boomed across all communication frequencies. Unknown vessels, you are interfering with Andromedan military operations. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The response came in calm, measured tones from the lead human vessel. Admiral Kresh, this is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Ship Horizon. You are attacking civilian populations in violation of galactic law. Withdraw your forces immediately. I am Admiral Kresh of the Andromedan Third Fleet. I do not take orders from primitives. Final warning, Admiral. Withdraw, or we will force you to withdraw. Kresh's laughter echoed across space. With what? You have maybe 300 ships. I have 500 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. Admiral, Captain Rodriguez replied, You have 500 ships designed with technology from 50 years ago. We have 300 ships designed with technology from next century. The Andromedans opened fire first, launching volleys of quantum disruptor torpedoes that had torn through Council defenses in previous battles. The weapons struck human shields and simply disappeared, absorbed without trace. Impossible, breathed Science Officer HFY. Those torpedoes can punch through anything. Human ships began returning fire. But instead of the bright energy beams or explosive missiles ZYX expected, they launched something entirely different. Streams of silver particles that moved like living things, flowing around Andromedan ships, and somehow passing through their shields. Where the silver particles touched Andromedan vessels, the ships simply stopped working. Weapons went silent. Engines shut down. Life support continued, but all offensive capabilities vanished. Within 10 minutes, Admiral Kresh's entire attack fleet was floating helplessly in space. "This is impossible," Admiral Kresh transmitted. "What did you do to my ships?" "Nanoscale repair robots," Captain Rodriguez explained casually. "They're very good at fixing things. Unfortunately, they consider weapons systems to be malfunctions that need correcting." Across all 17 battle zones, the same scene played out. Andromedan fleets, some numbering in the thousands, were systematically disabled without a single ship being destroyed. Human vessels moved through space like dancers, their technology making the most advanced Andromedan weapons look like primitive tools. "Sir," Officer Crow reported, "I'm receiving surrender requests from Andromedan commanders in all 17 systems." But the most shocking moment came when Admiral Kresh himself requested direct communication with Captain Rodriguez. "Human Captain, I have been fighting in galactic wars for 300 years. I have seen every type of weapon, every military technology. How is this possible? Admiral, your people have spent centuries perfecting ways to destroy things. We spent centuries perfecting ways to protect and preserve things. Turns out, when your goal is to save lives rather than take them, you develop very different solutions. But your ships, your weapons, where did this technology come from? The same place all technology comes from, Admiral. Necessity, time, and the determination to do better than previous generations." In the command center on Earth, Director Martinez watched the battle reports with mixed emotions. The 17 worlds were safe, but this was only the beginning. High Chancellor Rax's transmission came through shortly after the last Andromedan fleet surrendered. "Director Martinez, the Council is impressed, but we need to discuss terms for the future." "Of course, Chancellor. But first, we need to deal with immediate concerns." On the display screens, images appeared from across Andromedan space. Internal communications showed chaos as news of the defeat spread. Some Andromedan commanders were calling for massive retaliation. Others were questioning whether their empire's military expansion was sustainable. "We're detecting movement from a main Andromedan home fleets," reported Dr. Park. "They're mobilizing everything they have." Director Martinez nodded. "Expected. Admiral Kresh was testing our capabilities. Now they'll try to overwhelm us with sheer numbers." "Can we handle their entire fleet?" asked Dr. Stone. "We can. But more importantly, we need to decide if we should." Chancellor Rax appeared confused in the holographic transmission. "What do you mean?" "We could defeat the Andromedans completely, disable their entire military, and effectively end their empire. But that would leave a massive power vacuum in the galaxy. Millions of Andromedan civilians would suffer in the chaos that followed." Dr. Chun, who had been monitoring Andromedan internal communications, spoke up. "There's another option. I'm detecting significant opposition within Andromedan space to their military leadership. Peace factions that have been suppressed for centuries." "You're suggesting regime change?" Chancellor Rax asked. "We're suggesting we give the Andromedan people a choice," Director Martinez replied. "We can protect them from their own military leadership long enough for them to decide what kind of government they want." Over the following days, human fleets appeared throughout Andromedan space. But instead of attacking military installations, they simply surrounded them and waited. Meanwhile, human communication networks began broadcasting directly to Andromedan civilian populations. The message was simple: the war is over. Your military can no longer attack other worlds. Now you can choose what happens next. The Andromedan Empire fell not through conquest, but through the simple realization that their military could no longer function. Without the ability to project force, the military government lost all authority. Civilian populations rose up, demanding new leadership and an end to centuries of aggressive expansion. 6 months later, Commander ZYX stood in the same council chamber where humanity had first revealed itself. But now, representatives from the former Andromedan worlds sat alongside traditional council members. The galaxy had indeed changed. Director Martinez appeared on the main screen, addressing the expanded council. The age of galactic warfare is ending. Not because conflict is impossible, but because protecting people is now easier than harming them. We're sharing our defensive technologies with anyone who wants them. More importantly, we're sharing the philosophy behind them, which is, asked Representative Quell, that the strongest civilizations are those that lift up everyone around them. That true security comes from making the galaxy safer for all species, not just your own. Chancellor Rax pulsed with warm light. Director Martinez, on behalf of the Galactic Council, we would like to formally invite Earth to join as a permanent member. We accept, Director Martinez replied, but with one condition. What condition? That we work together to make that membership unnecessary. Our goal isn't to rule the galaxy. It's to create a galaxy that governs itself through cooperation rather than fear. As the session ended and representatives began discussing the practical details of galactic cooperation, ZYX reflected on how much had changed. Humanity had kept silent for thousands of years, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. They had waited until they were strong enough to protect, rather than simply survive, patient enough to understand before acting, and clever enough to win through healing rather than destruction. The galaxy would never be the same, and for the first time in his long career, ZYX believed it would be better.